Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar hosted by the Hague Business Agency. I'm Daisy, I'm a business advisor at THBA, and I'll be the moderator of today's webinar. I'm sure everybody is already familiar with the latest developments of financial support. But what are the new developments in this financial support for small and medium enterprises in the Netherlands? Today, we're going to talk about this topic, and we invited great speakers. So today we have two great speakers, Gert-Jan de Jager from Kneppelhout and Guy van Eijkeren from THBA. And this is the next slide. And this will be our program for today. I'll briefly introduce the latest developments of THBA. And today we invited Gert-Jan de Jager from Kneppelhout to talk about the new developments on the key financial instruments. So Kneppelhout was established in 1979 by Jan Kneppelhout and Ben Korthals. It is a medium-sized full-service law firm that focuses on entrepreneurs in various sectors, such as construction, real estate, trade, and many more. And Gert-Jan de Jager, he's a partner at Kneppelhout's administrative law department. He specialized in food and health sector. He and his team, they're very experienced with assisting international companies, and especially with government-related procedures. In the past, we actually have cooperated with Kneppelhout many times, and we have assisted many new international companies. So if you have any questions for him about the financial instruments, please ask him during this webinar. And then the third guest is Guy van Eijkeren, my colleague. Of course, we assist new clients, but of course we value long-term relationships with our existing clients. We call this our investor relations network. So he will give you a short update about our activities and the developments in our IR program. So you might have noticed that your microphone is already muted, but you can still ask questions via the chat box. So please submit the questions during the first half an hour, and the second half an hour, we will have the Q&A, and we will try to answer all of your questions. And if not, you can also reach us by calling or by emailing us, and Kneppelhout, of course. And we will record this webinar, and the recording will be sent to you by email. Okay. So what are the latest business developments at THBA? The last 6 months, we actually have gone through a major digital transformation, like many other companies. So actually, all our activities have gone online. So we now became a fully online savvy team. So for example, our fact-finding tours are now done virtually as well. So from abroad, an international company, if you have interest in coming to Europe or the Netherlands, we can arrange all the meetings online with great experts, such as law firms, for example, Kneppelhout, or accountants, business centers, maybe some office locations as well. We can all do it online. And have you seen our website? We have a COVID-19 support webpage where we share the latest developments and information packages. So please check our website, businessagency.thehague.com. So in our case, this digital transformation has brought us many benefits, not even only for us as a team, but also for you as a customer. Because now, within one click, you can book an appointment or call us via the website. So again, please check our website, businessagency.thehague.com. And now we also have many webinars. So we engage with a large international community, and we are in line with many experts. And they can share the best knowledge out of hand and share this knowledge with you online. So today we're going to talk about the financial instruments. So I would like to give the floor to Gert-Jan now.
Thank you very much, Daisy. I will be speaking about the instruments because of the coronavirus that hit the Netherlands as it has hit the rest of the world, of course. The government put into place several financial instruments after coronavirus hit per March this year. And at the moment we are at the second batch, so to say, of all these measures. there are too many to discuss today, so we will be forwarding you all the links of all financial measures that exist after this seminar. But today we'll be focusing on the temporary emergency bridging measure for sustained employment. It's a mouthful. In Dutch, its abbreviation is NOW, and I will be referring to this measure by now. So this is a replacement, this measure, for an older measure, the unemployment benefit during short-time working. And the general idea of this NOW measure is that you keep your staff, and therefore there is put into place a measure that will make sure that you will keep your staff by subsidizing the wages you pay for your employees, up to 90% in case you have a loss of turnover of 100%. And it depends, of course, how much loss you have over the next few months, which percentage will be done, and we'll have an example later on. It's meant for any business in the Netherlands, and it can also be used not only because loss of turnover because of coronavirus, but any other cause that may occur and you have your loss in turnover. It's a public law-based measure, so it's a subsidy. So the General Administrative Law Act applies, and that means that both the Employee Insurance Agency, UWV in Dutch, and the Social Affairs and Employment Inspectorate, ESZW in Dutch, will have opportunities and competence to even to visit your company to see if all requirements of this measure has been taken into account. And it further means that the subsidy will be granted in 2 stages. You first get your advance, and afterwards there will be a final grant, and there will be a check afterwards with this final grant if you met all the requirements for this measure. Only if you have gained over 125,000 euros or an advance of 100,000 euros, you have to file a report by your accountant saying that you have had that loss in turnover you have asked subsidy for. The difference from now on is that nowadays we have reference periods over 2019, and that's divided, the turnover divided by 3, because it's a subsidy you can get for 4 months. So the reference period is 2019 and a period of 4 months. So you can apply from as of the 1st of June, the 1st of July, or the 1st of August. But once you have had already your now one subsidy, then it should be from as of the 1st of June. You can claim up to a maximum of 90% of the wages, and that's depending on how much turnover you expect to lose, of course. There's an incentive built in this measure that in case you have to dismiss your staff because of economic grounds, you have to pay back 100% of the subsidy you have gained. And in the example we will show later on, you will see that that's quite that has an incentive because of the fact that the turnover loss that percentage will not be taken into account. Just that you pay the full money, the full amount will be returned. There's no need to have participated in Now 1 to file an application for Now 2.0, and the same goes for the Now 1 measure. You have to inform your employees that you have been granted this compensation. You're not allowed to pay any bonus, dividend, or buy back your own shares during this subsidy period. The maximum wage you can ask the subsidy for is 9,583 euros per month per employee. An important especially for this audience, I suppose, is that business groups with Dutch and foreign subsidiaries may not count the turnover loss from their subsidiaries that do not pay the Dutch social insurance contribution on wages. So it must be, so to say, a Dutch company. If you want to dismiss 20 employees or more on economic grounds, you must have reached an agreement with the unions or other staff representation. And if you can't reach an agreement, you must have made an application for mediation through the Labour Foundation Commission. If you fail to do so and apply for collective dismissal after the 29th of May and before the 1st of October, you get a 5% discount on the final ground. So there are a lot of rules that apply, but then again, the first check is minimum. The definite check will be done afterwards, but you have to make sure that the turnover loss you expect is sound. So no overcharging, no over asking any subsidy, because you have to pay back a large amount of money. You have now the sheet before you with the example. This is a company that has 3 employees. It expects a 50% turnover loss over the next 4 months. The subsidy percentage is 90%. Well, 3 times 1,000 euros, that's not much, but okay, for the example, it fits. 3,000 euros in total wages times 4 months. You get for 4 months this subsidy times 140%. That 140% is meant for all the holiday allowances, the social insurance you have to pay as an employer. So that has that's a difference from the now one measure, because there the percentage was 130%, but the government saw that employers have more of these costs, so they have made the percentage somewhat higher to 140%. Now, what it means in this example, you get 7,500 euros in subsidy, and that's per employee 2,520. And there we go. There's this example of the case. If you then dismiss your employee on economic grounds, you get this 100% correction. Well, this individual wage for this employee is 1,000 euros times 3 months. That's a fix times that 140%. That's the 1.4 increase flat rate times the 0.9 subsidy percentage is 3,780 euros. Dus here the turnover loss is not taken into account. So after this dismissal, you receive as an employer the 3,780 euros. No negative subsidy is at hand. So if you have gotten, say you have asked subsidy for one employee, you would have gotten 2,520 euros. So in case you have to dismiss this employee because of economic grounds, you lose that 2,520 euros, but you have not, you're not to pay for the difference between that 3,780 euros and the 2,520 euros. So that's about the now point 2.0, and then we go to I think a poll, but I don't know how to. Yeah, there we go. That's a poll question. My business is doing well despite the corona crisis. I do not need now. It's a yes or no question. We were curious how you are doing. Let's see if there is any response. If not, then we go forward, I suppose. Oh, there we go. I there are the results. There is a yes for 47% and a no for 53%. So it's a mixed picture. It's good to hear that a lot of companies are doing well despite of this corona crisis. Thank you. Then we're going over to another measure. That is the Corona Bridging Loan, also known as in Dutch call 2.0. That's an entirely different based measure because it's private law based. So you enter into a contract with the so-called Regional Development Corporation, the ROM's in Dutch. And that's because of it, you enter into a contract that for the most part, you have to discuss the terms and conditions prior to getting this loan, but because that's what it is. You get a loan to bridge all the problems you encounter because of the corona crisis. It's meant for startups, scale-ups, and innovative SMEs, so small and medium business enterprises. And then, of course, the first question is, what are startups, scale-ups, and the innovative SMEs? Well, startup is an unlisted company existing shorter than 5 years. Could be a unit from an existing company, provided that they are placed in a new legal entity. Because of for the most part, it's an R&D. It has an R&D status. Scale-up is a company of 10 to 250 employees. Turnover has increased by at least 60% over the last 5 years, or is expecting to have that increase in the next 5 years. And an innovative SME is a company of 1 to 250 employees who develops product, process, and/or market innovations in the context of industrial research and experimental development, or a combination of both. And because of Brussels rules, that it has the turnover of 50 million or a total annual balance sheet of 43 million. So why this call 2.0? It's because the government thinks that there should be emphasis on precisely those companies, because they are investing a lot in R&D, and that's important for our economy. And because these companies are not eligible for a lot of the other measures because of the fact that they don't have that much money. They are all investing it in R&D and have not yet enough turnover or solvability to get any other bank loans and so forth. That's why this measure has been put into place. As the sheet shows, you can use this loan for payment for obligation and or investments. You have to show your liquidity figures over a period of 12 months and show your payment problems due to the corona crisis. And you need to explain why you need the funding for the next 9 months. I know that's an important one. There can't be any accumulation of state aid. And in the sheet I've mentioned 2 other measures. That's the BMK, B, C, and GO. And the BMK, those measures are bank loans, but there are bank loans where the state will guarantee the loan that has to that is given. So it's easier for banks to to hand out those loans. But once you get it from your bank, you can't apply for this call 2.0 because that would be a combination of state aid measures, and that is not allowed because of Brussels rules. Let's see. The next sheet. That's what it contains. This measure. It's a bridging loan. There are 3 categories. There's a bridging loan from 50,000 to 350,000 euros. That's a 3% interest. That's the easiest one, of course. And the larger the amount, the more well, the more requirements you have to meet. Second one is also 3%, but there should be an external equity funding of 25%. And that goes for the last one as well. If you have a need of a loan of over 2 million euros, then you should apply at InvestNL. That's another measure that has been put into place, but this call only goes to 2 million euros. You have to pay back in 3 years. That can be extended to the discretion of those ROMs, this regional development corporations, to 5 years. There are interest-free periods possible, and the next sheet will show where we stand as of now, because there's a dashboard. We love dashboards during the Corona crisis, but there's also a dashboard for coal. It shows that it's not easy to get this loan because there have been a lot of applications, but as you can see at the top of the page, 822 are denied, and only 470 are pending, and well, in total there is 637 million euros requested, but only 135 million is granted. So it shows that you have to do well to get this loan. Then we go to the next slide. That's the last one. That's the Tozo 2.0. That's for sole proprietors, ZZP'er in Dutch, or a partner in a general partnership, and even DGA's. That's the holder of a private limited company. It's an income support and a business loan, a small business loan. The income support means that you will get over a period of 4 months, you get your income supplied of extra income in this Tozo 2.0. That's new compared to the first Tozo measure, is that also the partner's income will be checked. So if the income of both partners is over, and that's the social minimum of 1,500 euros, they will not get that income support. You must be a Dutch citizen. You must be of 18 years till the state pension age, and in between you get this income support. The loan for business capital can be given also to people that has passed the state pension age. Once you have been granted this loan because of Tozo 1.0, you can't apply for a second loan under Tozo 2.0. Income support, of course, is granted, even if you don't have participated in the Tozo 1 periods. Let's see, there was a final poll, I suppose. The poll is: I find it hard to find my way in all the financial measures provided by the government, and I would like to get some more information. Once again, yes or no. As I mentioned in the beginning, there are several measures, so we will make sure that you will get links to all the measures available. That's a definite yes. 75% find it hard to find its way through all the measures, and I can imagine. Thank you for answering that question, and that's about it for me, Daisy. So I'll hand you the floor.
Thank you so much, Gert-Jan, for your elaborate presentation of the financial measures. I think it's very helpful. Also, we saw the results of the poll. So definitely, if you have questions, please submit the questions via the chat box so we can answer them within a few minutes. So now, I would like to give the floor to my colleague Guy. He will tell you more about our IR investor relations activities and plans.
Thanks, Daisy, and good morning, everybody. Thanks for the introduction, and thanks, Gert-Jan, for the clear explanation of all the different measures. I'll give a more specific view of the investor relationship activities. Over the last 20 years, we have been working on a relationship with service providers, companies, government, and various networks to provide help for our foreign investors. Once companies are settled and had their soft landing, we reach out to them with our investor relationship program. We start and continue with introducing and connecting them with the ecosystem of The Hague. This could be through network events, strategic council, and especially by providing service and maintaining relationships with our foreign investors. THBA is building a long-term relationship by reaching out to our business network. In pre-corona days, THBA would visit over 100 companies physically every year. Every now and then, interesting signals come across. In case a company is growing and looking for expansion, the Hague Business Agency connects with the right added value partners. I have an example, CreditSafe, a well-known provider of online business credit reports which landed in 2008 in The Hague. Since then, we built a strong relationship which also helped in their decision to stay within The Hague in 2017. They needed to move to a bigger building due to expansion and were considering different options and regions. A relocation for a bigger and smarter office was necessary. Together with the municipality and Steenworp, it was assured that 70 jobs remained in The Hague. During the outbreak of the COVID-19 crisis in March and due to the travel ban, the acquisition of new business dropped down. The Hague Business Agency paid extra attention to help out our existing international companies. At the start of the lockdown in March, we wanted to know how we could help out our business network. As we couldn't call over 100 organizations at once, we launched our first survey to get a hold of the issues that occurred at the time in organizations. Let me highlight some of the outcome. Can I get the slide? Thank you. 83 of the organizations were experiencing negative financial efforts because of the crisis. And 54 expect the financial impact to become critical for their company if the emergency measures continue for at least 4 to 6 months. And as the poll also said, that 71 doesn't have full knowledge of the benefits the government has developed for the international businesses in The Hague. Thanks to all respondents, the Hague Business Agency could figure out what kind of support was needed. The outcome of the survey, therefore, was very useful. We could adjust and follow up to provide direct service for our investor relationship network. We made a support package with an overview of all government benefits, which are also explained by Gert-Jan earlier. Besides that, Daisy mentioned that TPR started working fully online, with online IR visits, hosting webinars, and fully focused on digitally informing and helping out our business network. We had direct contact with companies who indicated to wanted to get in touch with a business advisor. From that point on, we could guide them and help them out with further questions. With the development of the COVID-19 and intelligent lockdown, the government launched a second set of measures. We shared our second THB info package through direct mailing and the social media channels. We combined this with our second survey to try and understand what was going on in our investor relationship network. We could signal action that were taken by organizations and could inform our stakeholders, such as the municipality, and take actions on certain topics. I have some outcome of the second survey on the next slide. In comparison with the first survey, organizations reported less chain disruption, but more organizations reported loss of existing business. This is in relation with the easing of the emergency measures and, of course, the impact on certain companies. Also, I have another slide, which is about the measures used by our business network, and that is that the now measure is used the most, the temporary emerging bridging measure. Besides the survey, there are several interesting outcomes of our investor relationship activities. For example, companies who are at the end of their flexible office contract don't renew this and will keep working from home as long as needed. They're willing to enter a more hybrid way of working in their organization. Of course, we will support them once they find the need to get a new office space again. The IR activities also bring opportunities and new leads for new business. We have contact with companies who focus on ICT solutions, digitalization, and who are still interested in exploring the business opportunities. Therefore, as Daisy mentioned, we provide virtual fact-finding trips. One example is a company who is focused on mobility and has technical solutions for the one-off media economy. This was a short insight of the work of our investor relationship activities that we do as the Hague Business Agency. Back to you, Daisy.
Thank you so much for your updates. And now we will shortly view a video, and after that we will start the Q&A. So the Q&A starts. I'm sure we have very interesting questions. The first one, is the Tozo NOW TVL applied for a subsidy or a loan? I'm sure Gert-Jan can answer this question.
Would you repeat, please? Sorry.
Is the Tozo NOW TVL applied for a subsidy or a loan?
Applied for it's applied for a subsidy. Yeah. Now, well, and the Tozo is of course an income support, so that's something you ask at your municipality, and that is not considered as a subsidy. No.
Okay. If you have other questions, of course, you can reach out to Gert-Jan afterwards for the specifics and the criteria of the financial measures. Okay. Another one about the Tozo. The Tozo income support. Does it not belong to the loan, right?
Well, it's because of the lack of loan that you get this income support, of course. And it is meant for sole proprietors that have no income yet left because of the corona crisis. So it's insofar as it is a loan, yeah. But it's a wages support, so to say, yeah.
Okay. Let me see. I have a question for you, Guy. With the result for the survey, what action plan do you have in the pipeline?
Well, at the moment, we continue with visiting our companies digitally, and soon, hopefully, we can do this in a one-off media economy. And we are looking for options to create an event, either in a hybrid and also maybe in a physical way. Then we can bring all the companies back together again, but we're still figuring this out.
So that will be the plan for this year, right?
Hopefully.
Yeah. Okay. Let me find another question. I see there, I think there is one about the bank account for a startup. I think there is a question about a bank account for a startup, but I think it's not relevant for this video. Maybe there are some other questions. I see that we just answered the question about the Tozo, the income support, but the answer was not very clear, Gert-Jan. Maybe you could elaborate on this one, if it belongs to a loan or not.
Well, it is not a loan, no, as such. No, it is you get your support, and there are no. As long as you meet the requirements, there is no discussion afterwards if you have received it rightfully or not. So, as soon as you meet the requirements for Tozo, you will get this income support, and that's it. That's not to pay back, no interest rates apply, and so forth.
Okay.
That's different because of the banking, the part of the loan that you can ask for. That business loan, of course, should be paid back in the end. But well, as for the income support, that's free of any requirements. For the banking loan, of course, that should be paid back in off the top of my head in 3 years. Yeah.
I have another question. Is there anything for startups in pre-revenue stage? Is that a question you can answer, Gert-Jan?
Let me see. And perhaps the question could be somewhat more. But pre-revenue stage, I don't know. I'm not familiar with the term, so that would be hard to answer then.
Maybe it will mean like startups that just started.
Okay.
Are they still eligible for the COL, for example?
They are certainly eligible for. It's an unlisted company, a startup. So there is no need to have your registration at the Chamber of Commerce. So as long as you're a startup and you can prove that you're a startup and you have started business, that's prior to 17th March of this year, because that's the date of where the cabinet has announced all the measures because of the corona crisis, then you can apply. Yeah.
Okay, great to know. All right. A question for you, Guy. So are there any IR activities planned for this year? Maybe some online activities or hybrid events that you're already thinking of?
Yes, well, as we're doing now, we're hosting webinars to inform our business network, and as I mentioned, that we're looking for the possibility to create an event, either hybrid or physically, but it really depends on regulation and with how many people and with how many businesses we can come together in a way. So that's something for in the pipeline. I have a lot of signals from the companies that they're willing to come together and to get connected again. So that's a positive point, but we just need to make a good preparation for that and see how far we can come with that this year.
Yeah, great. Good to know. I have another question. What kind of issues would companies have if they couldn't apply for any of the financial measures?
Well, that's a point that we had in our survey as well. There was a signal that organizations have problems with the European SEPA bank account. That's a single euro payment area. That there will be banking discrimination, a bank account instead of an IBN bank account. And that problem has been reported and has been solved together with the municipality of the economic affairs. So in that way, we guide the issue through and make sure that it's taken care of.
Okay, great. Are there any other questions about the IR updates or maybe the financial measures? You can submit them now. This is a good one. How long will the financial support for entrepreneurs will last in the Netherlands? Gert-Jan.
That's difficult to say, of course. As the new measures are put into place till the end of 2020, but I can imagine as soon as COVID-19 spreads once again, that there will be a need of extending those measures. But we see as a cabinet that is doing its utmost to try and get the economy going. There has been a large dip, of course, and all measures are put into place to make sure that the economy will be up again as soon as possible. Because of what we saw at now, really everything has been done to make sure that staff can be employed during this corona crisis. And there aren't too many dismissals, because that's bad for the economy, of course. So I think the government will do its best to make sure the economy gets going again. And if needed, there will be an extension. Yeah.
Great. Thanks. Another question for you, Gert-Jan. What services could you provide to SMEs in regarding of the NOW? And did you already help SMEs in the application phase?
We did, but the now measure is in this first stage. It's very simple. You apply, and only afterwards, then it will be checked whether you met the requirements properly. Because of now one has been ended, that's where we see the first legal issues, because turnover wasn't that, the loss of turnover for some companies wasn't that big, and what does that mean for the subsidy you have been granted? So that kind of questions come across. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Okay, I think we can wrap the webinar up. Thank you so much for attending, the audience, and thank you, Gert-Jan and Guy, for talking about the new developments and the IR activities. I hope the attendees have enjoyed this webinar, and the recording will be emailed to you by email, and you can also find it on the website businessagency.thehague.com. And for now, I wish you have a great summer. Thank you.